Good afternoon and welcome to AI Lunchtime Live, brought to you by Presight and Middle East AI News, part of the Presight Presents AI Week. Ahlan wa sahlan. I'm Carrington Malin. This is the last AI Lunchtime Live for Presight Presents AI Week, streaming live from Presight's offices in Abu Dhabi Global Market. And I can see that we may even finish a little bit earlier today, probably about 1-ish. I've been hosting AI Lunchtime Live every day this week, and this afternoon is the final show, and next week, Middle East AI News weekly show returns on Thursdays, and so Thursday, October 2nd will be my weekly show next week. During Presight Presents AI Week, we've been shining light on how AI is being used today to improve lives, make businesses more efficient, put governments in touch with their publics, and generally make things easier. And we invited leaders from technology, business, and education to join us this week to talk about AI and the technology behind the magic. And today we've got two great guests. We're going to be talking to 𝗍𝗂 𝗟𝗡𝗆, who you may see sitting next to me right now. I will introduce in a moment. Chief Human Capital and Culture Officer at Presight. So HR and talent, big theme today. And coming up a little later, we're going to be hearing from Presight trainee, 𝗷𝗂 𝗟𝗨𝗡𝗖𝗛. So looking forward to this, and looking forward to introducing you properly to 𝗍𝗂 in a moment. Welcome again to AI Lunchtime Live, brought to you by Presight and Middle East AI News. The last show in the series, talking about AI and how AI is being used today to improve business, government, education, and indeed people's lives. If you're new to Middle East AI News, Middle East AI News is the top source for news and insight on AI and how AI and other cutting-edge technologies are transforming the Middle East. And we're delighted to partner with Presight this week for Presight Presents AI Lunchtime Live. For those who are not so familiar with Presight's a leading global big data analytics and AI company powered by Gen AI, tackling some of the 21st century's biggest challenges and helping to enable lifelong human advancement. It's G42 group company, and it's also listed on the Abu Dhabi securities market, ADX. Ticker symbol is simply Presight, and the company currently does business in 4 continents. And during the course of this week, we've had the pleasure to hear from Thomas Promoteden, Presight CEO, Dr. 𝗷𝗿𝗄𝗆 𝗟𝗏𝗆, Presight COO, Maghsan Kassabaei, Chief Growth Officer. And so to round off the week, we're going to be talking to 𝗍𝗂 𝗟𝗡𝗅𝗔, Chief Human Capital and Culture Officer at Presight. So if you just joined listening to Presight Presents AI Lunchtime Live, brought to you by Presight Middle East AI News. And I should mention that if you've missed any of this week's shows, that you'll find the full video recordings on LinkedIn and YouTube. If you're trying to find the links for those, you can always go to Middle East AI News and look for the Presight Presents page, or you find the links to YouTube and LinkedIn shows. And some of our interviews from this week are going to be podcast during the next couple of weeks. And so you'll also be able to listen to those through Anghami, Spotify, and other popular streaming sites. And as always, if you want to find out more about this show and about upcoming shows, then do go to www.middleeastainews.com. You'll also see regular new updates on Middle East news, on future podcasts, and our daily News Minute podcast that goes out 6 a.m. UAE time every morning. So don't go away. It's a very interesting interview coming up with 𝗍𝗂, who's sitting next to me. Thanks very much for joining. At about 12:40, we'll be hearing from 𝗷𝗍 𝗟𝗨𝗡𝗧, one of Presight's trainees, to hear about her perspective on Presight and the opportunities in the AI sector for young Emiratis. And if you just joined, this is Presight Presents AI Lunchtime Live. We've had a really stellar lineup of speakers this week, and still some great discussions to come this morning. As mentioned, the full recordings of these shows are available online at the moment on LinkedIn and YouTube, and you'll be able to find details plus those links on www.middleeastainews.com. And as I mentioned, later today, we'll be hearing from a Presight trainee about what goes on at Presight and her experience in working with Presight, 𝗷𝗍 𝗟𝗨𝗡𝗧. So right now, let me tell you about our first guest, Eva Mourinho, Chief Human Capital and Culture Officer at Presight. Now, this is a very fast-growing company, and it's growing fast in every respect, accelerating in international expansion, growing in the domestic market, and today operating in 4 countries. During the first half of 2025, it hit a record 1 billion dirhams revenue, and a staggering 80% year-on-year growth compared with the first half of 2024. And so I think I'm right in saying that Presight now employs about 700 people, and it's still hiring. Presight has become a successful exporter of made in the UAE technology and developing platforms and solutions that are being implemented with customers globally. So I'm delighted to be able to talk to Eva about how that impacts the recruitment and hiring in the AI era. So let's give Eva a bit better introduction. Eva Mourinho is Chief Human Capital and Culture Officer at Presight, with more than 25 years experience in international HR leadership across Europe, Latin America, Asia, the Middle East and Africa. She held roles at major multinationals, including Siemens Energy, AstraZeneca, and more recently, Chief People Officer at 𝗘𝗀𝗃𝗧 Investments. Since September 2024, Eva's been Presight's Chief Human Capital and Culture Officer, which is driving the company's global talent agenda. And today, focused on attracting and developing and retaining the highly specialized talent, and also supporting talent that fuels Presight's growth, which, as I mentioned, is quite impressive. So a very warm welcome to Middle East AI News Live. Eva, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Carrington. And thank you for being with us all this week. I think it's been fascinating, I have to say.
Yeah, it has been fascinating.
I think it has, honestly.
I'm very interested to find out what goes on at Presight HR and recruitment. But perhaps you could just frame for us, what does it mean to be a human capital and culture officer?
Probably for me, is the most exciting job in a company. Yeah, and I tend to tell this to all my partners, to all my colleagues in the company, and also to my team. When I joined Presight a year ago, I found a fascinating, amazing team in the human capital. And I also found a company with an amazing culture, right? So most of the things that I'm going to be talking about is nothing to do with me. It was here before I came, yeah? But any people strategy in any organization is here to help us to deliver the ambition of the business, and is here to help us to drive what we are aiming to do together. Yeah, I don't believe in the concept of the internal customers, and I believe in we are all here to make this company better and better from where we are, right? Where my team is helping is to make sure that we have the right talent in the right place with the right culture to be able to deliver and to be able to add value to this purpose that we have together, roughly, right? That would be a little bit of the overarching idea.
And I mentioned that Presight has over 700 employees. Is that correct?
A little bit more. Every time that we talk, we have a little bit more. Yeah. So I think we are close to 800 now, and we will be finishing the year with 900 probably. Yeah, we have. That is. So as we speak, we have 80 people in onboarding that will come in the coming 1 to 3 months. Yeah, depending on their notice period. And we are hiring another 100 that will come in the coming 3 to 5 months. Yeah,
that's very interesting. And this is obviously powered by AI. This is the tidal wave that is the new AI era, pushing everything forward at greater and greater speed. How is that managed? How can you cope with that?
Part of it, well, first of all, I think the team is amazing, right? And I think we wouldn't be able to do what we are achieving without them. Yeah. There's one part that is already AI driven, and that's all related to the sourcing. We have so many candidates for each of the positions that sometimes it's very difficult to go through them. And now most of the ATAs, the applicant tracking systems, are coming with AI features that help us to do the sourcing better. The place where I'm struggling is we as companies are putting all these agents to help us, and then the candidates are putting other agents to help them to match the CV to our job description, right? So in a way, this becomes a robot-to-robot or machine-to-machine game, yeah? So the piece that for me matters most, of course, is the experience, and of course is what you have done before. But in the moment where we are living, it's more about the potential and the capability to grow and the willing to learn and the culture. And that still AI is not able to help us with. Yeah. So that's where the team comes in, and that's where the team needs to really...
The human factors.
Exactly. So you still need to meet them. You still need to have that touch where you feel if the person is going to be able to work closely with who we are, and the person talks to our values and our values talks to them, because that's the only way that this can happen, right? That the magic happen.
So you don't see AI taking your job anytime soon?
It's very funny because I think we all have been checking in this list. So is my job there or is my job not there, right? All this list that comes in all the newspapers and in all the webs, yeah. I think that's a very legitimate fear, because what's coming is still not well known. Yeah, so I think AI is going to be changing all our jobs, and it's already doing it. But I think, thankfully, because most of the things that we are doing most of the time are not really added value tasks, and AI is here, if we take it right, to help us to remove all that piece and become more strategic, more creative, and having agents to help us to make decisions. That's the way I'm saying it. So I wouldn't say AI will take your job. I will say a person that understands AI better than you will take your job. Yeah. So when I was having these conversations with Thomas at the beginning of the year, we were saying our responsibility as a company is to make sure that we make our people more and more employable, because that fear is there. And it's very legitimate, yeah? So when people fear, they go back to protecting myself, and sometimes we forget the team. So to prevent that and to make sure that we help them, we have a quote or a motto, which is we want to make every Preciter more and more employable. And that means I really need to help my team to understand AI faster and better than our competitors or than other people, because when their jobs will be very different, they will be ready. Yeah. And they will be ahead of the game. So what we are trying to do is make them future ready.
Oh, that's very interesting. So has the fact that Presight's focused on AI and there's a lot of technology involved, but it's moving so fast that it's almost out of date by the time you learn it, how does that affect choosing candidates and skills? There's obviously some skills that you need, but there's going to be skills in there that are going to be outdated very quickly as well.
We always start with the strategy, and we start with what we want to achieve. Yeah, so that gives us a little bit the capabilities that we need. And usually, if in HR we are doing our job right, we try to influence the strategy in a way that we have the capabilities or we have the potential to be able to go there quite quickly. Yeah, to be able to hire people, you need at least 3 to 5 months. And if you want to create a completely new vertical with the capabilities not existing in the company, in a way you are putting the company at risk. Yeah. So there are a few things, which is we need to evaluate at the beginning, and then we need to make sure that for today we are able to deliver. But this goes back to what we were talking before. It's more about how do we educate our teams to become more curious and to really stretch themselves every single day. Yeah, because what the capabilities that we will be looking for the future are more linked to adaptability, and that's going to be there, right?
Right. So how will you assess candidate skills, without probably people taking notes when you're talking here, but how would you assess candidate skills, qualifications and experience against, those human soft skills
Okay, yeah, I'm going
that
to
you
reveal the
definitely
secret
need
now.
to adapt to work in this environment?
There are many systems to do this. You have techniques, you have tests, you have skills assessments. I am passionate about passion and sparkling eyes. Yeah. So I know it's a very intangible concept, but when people can express what they are doing with passion and and this is what I wanted to solve, and this is what I did, and this is where I failed, and this is how I recover myself, and this is how I make it happen, you can see the journey of the person being accountable for their own deliverables, right? And that's what we need. Different companies have different values and different needs in whatever life stage they are, right? So for us, people that take ownership and accountability of their own mistakes, and they are able to fail, and that they can able to recover and have the resilience to keep going, that's what we need, yeah. The team is very clear explaining all our candidates. We are a very fast-moving company, yeah. So if you're coming here expecting the bureaucracy and your job being stable, and we are not the company for you. So we also need to be very clear with the candidates from the beginning who we are and what we are expecting, because if we don't do it, by the moment they join us, there's a little bit of frustration. So it's about candid conversations both ways. Yeah.
Right. And would you say that that's significantly different from other big companies that are not so focused and driven by AI? Is it? I know that it's all going this way because there's an increased adoption of AI, but is Presight really moving so fast that everything is very different?
I would compare it to the FMCG companies that are also super fast. Yeah. And I was lucky to work in very different industries, and this is by far the fastest. Yeah, by far. And it's because what you said, that things are changing every day and we still don't know what we don't know. So one candidate asked me a few weeks ago what I feel now that I'm in Presight. I've been a year here, right? And I said, I feel closest to the future. Yeah, it's very interesting. But I can see the future way closer than I could see it before. In many of my previous companies, we needed to put AI to help us to do whatever we were doing. But here we are defining the future. So here we are making it happen. And here we are struggling ourselves to be the best ones, delivering these Gen AI solutions that can help people to make decisions and to move faster and be more and more successful in their own businesses. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating, of course. Sometimes it's scary.
It's good if it's a little scary.
It's always nice, right?
So there's a lot of competition for hiring talent, particularly AI, specialized AI talent. And we feel that in the UAE just as much as anybody globally. Are there solutions for that? Is it simply a case of being, first and offering the most money, or is it, how difficult is it to find and attract and hire people that are qualified in AI? And do you see that getting more competitive, or?
It is like any new industry, right? We had an event where we happened to meet Sam, the founder of OpenAI. Yeah. And he was asked the question about these Meta companies or Google companies trying to steal his talent. And what I like about what he said was, he said something like, okay, I felt like if someone was entering my house and stealing from my house. That sentence in itself talks a lot about purpose, sense of belonging, and how that team started that organization. Yeah. And that's for me what attracts any kind of talent in any industry, right? When you have the right purpose, and then your own colleagues in the office speak about what we are able to achieve together, that's the best employer branding that we can have. Yeah. And that goes mouth, because talent across the planet, they want to be in a place where they leave legacy. People enter the building every day to be able to do something that is meaningful for them, that talks to their values, and that the purpose links to what they are doing. Yeah. So if we are able to create that and we have that culture and we explain it during the interviews, people feel fascinated. Yeah. And it's not about money. Money is a hygiene factor. We need to pay fairly. I tell everyone, I don't want to be one of the highest paying company because that creates prisoners. That doesn't create advocates. So I need to pay fairly. I need to make sure that what I pay makes sense. Yeah. And then people are here because they enjoy it, because they learn, because they grow, because we are delivering things that we can come to these things and talk about that. Yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah. And do you find that this is being externalized and people in the market are starting to recognize this about Presight?
I think more and more, because when I joined, it's very interesting. It's also, when I joined, I didn't know the company that much. And now every time that I'm meeting someone, they know who we are. They absolutely know who we are, right? I mean, not only because we are part of the G42, we have our own identity as a company. Yeah, even because we are a company that we don't sell to customers. So it's not that what we are doing is something that people can buy, and that sometimes make your branding a little bit less knowledgeable. Yeah, but that's not the case for us. So people come and knock on our door.
Great.
Yeah. And I think there's one piece you were talking about talent that I didn't talk before, which is these AI agents are helping me to find talent now everywhere in the planet. That's the piece that I didn't mention before that I'm fascinating about, because the talent of the future may not be next door. Yeah. They may not even be in the United States or in Europe. Yeah, we don't know. I mean, we are part of the global south, and I'm sure most of the talent that we need to find in the future are coming from countries where today we don't even know that they exist. Yeah, and all these AI tools are helping me to navigate and to find out people that they are not even looking because they are very happy. But I'm going there and I'm saying, look, because I'm checking what you're doing, these agents are telling me that you may love and enjoy working with us. Do you want to have a conversation? And that's the piece that I like.
Very interesting. So you're looking globally for talent, but you're also looking locally. How do you see the progress locally in the available talent and the talent pipeline? And is that, because we are creating more talent here, we are attracting more talent here. Is that still a drop in the ocean, or is it a good place to hire people?
I think there are two aspects to that question. The first one is how much the leadership of this country is investing on developing whoever is here. And that for me is fascinating. I think there are few countries in the planet where the leadership takes ownership on the development of the population the way the UAE does, with less citizens here, right? And that for me is very unique. And for me, it's a role model because they really invest and they really want to be the best. Yeah, that's one part of the story. So we are finding better and better talent in the local universities. Yeah, the second part of it is that UAE is a country that has been internalizing talent from other countries for many years. Yeah? Our workforce used to be 70% made by people that that weren't born here, right? I was going to be calling them immigrants. That's not the point. Yeah. I'm an immigrant myself, so. But the point is, before it was more complicated to attract people from other countries. Today, everyone wants to come.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to come. So if you call Spain, everyone wants to come. If you call the United Kingdom, everyone wants to come. United States, that because of the tax reasons, at the beginning, they didn't want to come. Now we have so many candidates from the United States. So what this leadership in the UAE is doing is best in class. Because they are, on one hand, developing the teams here internally and their own people. And on the other hand, they are creating a place that is able to attract for the security because of the tax reasons, because of the vibes, because of what we are creating, talent from all over the planet.
Yeah. You can visibly see that just talking to people and going places in Abu Dhabi. And I remember 10 years ago, you could probably count the number of people that were specialized data science and computational science in dozens. And now it's thousands, and soon it will be tens of thousands. So, and that's due to both those things, due to the local development and also due to attracting people.
Correct.
So we talked about acquisition and discovering talent and bringing talent on board. So perhaps we should talk about what happens when that talent is inside Presight. And is there a challenge in just recognizing keeping people up to date and skilled for their jobs? And is that a challenge that needs to be managed centrally in the company?
Let me give you some numbers. Yeah, as I said before, we are fully committed, all of us, to make everyone more and more employable, right? That's like a KPI that we all have there. I am a believer of the 10-20-70 model that says the best way to develop people is on the job. Yeah, so the 70% of your development happens. The magic happens when you roll your sleeves and you start dealing with what you learn in the school or in a class, or by the way, now you can even search it on Google because you don't need to go to any university if you really want to learn, right? So based on that, it's also been proven that the best CEOs of the planet are the ones that had so many experiences early stages in their career. They went through sales, they went through marketing, they went through HR, they went through, and it's not this typical career path to go up. It's more like understanding businesses across it. So the best way for us to do that is count on our middle managers and our leaders. HR cannot do this for everyone, right? The only thing that we can do is help our managers to really develop their teams and understand why it's super important that we have these conversations around how are we stretching our people and how are we making them ready for the next step. So for me, 60% ready is ready. So when someone is 60% ready to the next level, we need to be able to bet on that person, right? So let me give you some numbers, which is, as I said, we hire 150 people so far. And out of that, 50 positions were positions where I could have promoted someone and I didn't. Yeah, because I needed to buy talent from outside. We are growing so fast that we cannot develop everyone as fast as we want. Yeah. The good news is that while I was buying 50 people from outside, I was promoting 90 from within. Yeah. Right. So this year until today, we have promoted 90 of our employees. You know that at the beginning of the year, there were 600 Presighters, right? So that's a nice ratio for us. So the same way that we need to buy talent to help us with some of the capabilities that we still don't have. And mainly because of the speed, we are also helping people to develop.
Yeah,
right?
Which is a nice message for candidates as well. This is some way you can work hard and grow very quickly.
It is. And I think the speed of the growth of the organization needs to help us to allow our teams to grow with us. Yeah. It's the only way to succeed. Yeah.
I'm interested to hear your view on whether our new AI tools make it easier or more difficult to ensure that people learn. Because there was some research a few months ago that a lot of people are using Gen AI and copy pasting, and so they're not reading and digesting, and they're also not working things out for themselves, and that's a risk.
I like the question. I like the question. I really do, because we all talk about, okay, AI needs to be ethic. We all talk about, where's the privacy of the individuals? And I also talk about where is the critical thinking. I think we are losing it, yeah? Because we are going to, and we all start with, okay, let's ask this system to correct my email. But how much are we growing with this? So how much are we challenging ourselves? How much are we challenging the information that is giving us? So I'm from a generation that we challenge everything. We needed to challenge everything when we were little, right? We didn't trust the news. We didn't trust the. So we were growing with that critical thinking that was asking us or helping us to completely change our mindsets. So I think it's going to be, this is my personal opinion. This is what I think. You asked my personal opinion. I'm telling you my personal opinion, right? I think there's going to be a gap between the old generations, where we are going to be just using it in a way that maybe is not the appropriate one, and the new generations that were born with it, and they are using it in a completely different way as we do, right? And there's a big piece about academia and how the universities and the schools are educating the kids, because the old way of educating kids is not relevant any longer. Yeah. So it's like a joint responsibility between the individuals to understand that if ChatGPT is answering your emails, yeah, you are less and less capable to answer emails yourself. And on one side, it's fascinating that specifically in HR, we have fantastic systems that are giving us data and statistics that we didn't have before, but we need to be able to read them. And we need to be able to question if those are the right things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there will be this moment of maybe a lapsus in the time. But then after that, we will be able to use it, because the fascinating piece around this is, and I heard someone, it was a very important CEO saying this. He said, we as CEOs, we have advisors around us to help us to make decisions. Now, guys, you have the same agents to help you to make the same decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can create your own agents that can help you to create your own business, to take your own decisions, and to be more and more accountable for what you're doing. And that's the step that I think we need to make.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I was interested in hearing. But let me turn that into now a Presight question.
Okay.
So how is HR and sort of human capital and culture, what's the role in ensuring that AI is ethical and there's, good and fair usage in the organization?
Well, we all have our compliance processes, and we all have our governance to make sure that things happen with or without AI. Yeah. For me, it goes beyond the AI topic itself. It goes to the fact that we are creating the world of the future, right? So we want to make a planet that is better and better and better. Yeah. And we are all in that sphere. We heard, all of us, these companies, that they were trying to recruit based on AI. And I don't think it was unethical. I think it was a learning moment where the data that we were inputting was giving outcomes that were not inclusive enough to be able to say that women or people from different cultures were be able to do that job. Yeah. But that's not an AI problem. That's a problem of the evolution of the generative AI and how we learn to do that. We as humans made the same mistakes. So at the beginning, we were also trying to look for white men with kind of the same way of talking. And it took us also a little bit to learn that if we have diversity in the pool, things go better, right? So I wouldn't blame AI. I would put this as a path to be able to reach perfection, because at the end of the day, it's going to be even better than us, if we do it right. So we have all the systems and we have all the governance to make sure that these things are as we want them to be. Yeah, the values are not negotiables, and the purpose. Yeah,
right. But at this point, it's important that there's a human on the loop.
I think it will be important always.
Right.
I don't think we can remove the humans at all. I don't think so. I think
which is good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
It's good for me.
It's good. No, it's good. I don't think, I said it before, I don't believe we are going to be losing our jobs because of this. I think we are going to be working very differently, right? And
so Presight's a very fast-growing company. It's a fast-hiring company. And there's obviously, internally, there's a lot of opportunities for people to grow and develop. Is the future of work being created at Presight?
When I think about the future of work, I think about things like these fascinating people that we met at the accelerator program, yeah. And then you see these very young people creating amazing companies that are able to deliver fascinating things, yeah. So probably in the future of work, there's a piece around hierarchies that I don't think will be there the way we see them today. So I think these career paths of to be able to be a chief human capital, you need to be working for 20 years and do all these different roles. I don't think it's going to be there. I don't think the way we need to educate people is to put them in jobs in the entry level where they are going to be crunching data for 2 years, not because it's good for their development, but because it's good for me, because I don't have any other way to do it. Yeah. And then I convince them it's better for you to stay here for 2 or 3 years. That's going to disappear also, right? So there's a massive need for all the organization to understand how we do that transition in a way that we remove those entry levels and we get our people through the probably commitment with the academia to make them ready to go to completely different places in the organization and let them fly. Yeah, because sometimes we want to put them in our own way of working, and I don't know how much that will be the way companies will succeed in the future.
So we've seen organizations getting flatter and flatter and less hierarchical for the last 20, 30 years, certainly. You think that's going to be even more compressed and even less hierarchy in the future?
The reason why companies became flatter in the past, and that's where the number of layers became 7 layers or 9 layers, which at the beginning were very, very long, were more related to the silos and to the fact that you wanted to reduce the people not being able to understand where we are going, especially in very big organizations. So companies that have 300,000 employees, they used to have 10 layers until the last person in the company. So by the moment the CEO was talking about something, when the last person heard the message, it was completely out of what we were talking about. That was the reason to do that. Yeah. So it was about we all come together and we are closer to the strategy. We centralize part of the processes. We cannot reinvent the wheel in every single corner. And then we all talk and speak the same language. Yeah. In the future of work, but we still had, you go to the first level, then you go to the second level, then you go to the third level. You will still have that, yeah? So you have like your career path, and then you have like, okay, now you manage people, now you don't manage people, now these are the capabilities. I don't know if this is relevant in the future, and I don't have the answer, yeah? But when I see these very young people with very flat organizations being able to deliver, I question myself if we need all those layers in that order to make it happen.
That's a very interesting point, because most career paths are structured around that. But one day I will be the top of the hierarchy. But what if there is no hierarchy?
But it's not about hierarchy, right? It's about how much we are able to deliver and how much we are able to be accountable for what we are doing, right? So I think we also protected ourselves also a little bit in the hierarchy. I always say the same. Running a revolution is not the same as leading a country. Yeah. So when you are there to complain, it's fascinating. When you need to go and ride the bull, it's a different story, because then you need to be able to lead the team, and you need to be able to grab them to perform even better. And at the same time, you also need them to believe in what they are doing, right? And be fascinating about that, and enter the company with a sparkly eyes, right? And being tired and exhausted, but they want to be here still, right? And that's nothing to do with years of experience all the time. Sometimes you have people that can do that. And maybe we don't let them because they didn't went through all these different stages. Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to be looking for sparkling eyes for quite a while then.
You are going to laugh at this, but we have this machine at the entrance. And then I was asking the engineers, can we do it in a way that we can check whether the people are entering with a sparkling eyes? And I was joking, right? I mean, we cannot do that. But for me, it's important. And even beyond that, you can even check if someone is coming with sometimes people are tired and are exhausted, and you can also measure it in a different way, right? And that can help us to go and tackle places where employees are maybe not in their best selves, and then we can help them, right? But I don't think it's legal as of now, so I need to post that. I need to post that idea.
Thank you so much for talking to us today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Really enjoyed the discussion. Fascinating. Any parting words for the would-be pre-site candidates out there?
So I'll tell what I tell everyone, right? This is a company that it grew so fast. And then the beauty is that we don't have hierarchies. Yeah, we are a very flat organization. There's no levels because we don't have capacity to do it. We don't like prima donnas because we also don't have capacity to do it. So we are all here to row together and to help each other to make things happen. We fight, we disagree, we agree to disagree. But then I think we are all here to make this country a better country, to help on the deliveries of our products and solutions. And more than that, to make Presight the best exporter of technology in the planet, yeah, from the UAE, which is what we are doing now.
Great. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for the week, not for now, for the week. Yeah.
You're welcome. It's been fun.
Thank you. Likewise.
I've been talking to Eva Mourinho, Chief Human Capital and Culture Officer at Presight. We had a very interesting conversation about HR and the impact of AI on work and, in fact, the culture at Presight. So that was very interesting. Next, I'm going to give you a quick update on Middle East AI news from around the region. So this is your Middle East AI news roundup for Friday, September 26th. 𝗂𝗍𝗂, Saudi Arabia's AI company, has announced details of their first AI PC. The national AI company in Saudi Arabia, 𝗂𝗍𝗂, has unveiled a Horizon Pro, a groundbreaking agentic AI laptop launched at the Qualcomm Snapdragon Summit in Hawaii yesterday, powered by the Snapdragon 𝗟𝗪𝗡 processor and running a proprietary 𝗂𝗍𝗂 operating system. The Horizon Pro integrates Arabic-first LLM for on-device processing with a hybrid cloud support and 18 hours battery life. So that's a new machine that's announced by 𝗂𝗍𝗂 with agentic AI. So that's quite an interesting breakthrough. Meanwhile, in more Saudi news, US AI chip maker 𝗵𝗵𝗍𝗄 will open its new office in Riyadh next month. As previously announced, 𝗵𝗵𝗍𝗄 will open a new office in Riyadh, deepening its Saudi presence through local hiring and partnerships. Backed by the NEOM investment fund and part of the National Semiconductor Hub, 𝗵𝗵𝗍𝗄 will host its first global board meeting in Riyadh next month as well. And lastly, Qatar has announced a $3 billion fund to invest in data centers globally. This seems to be becoming a trend in the Gulf, with billions and billions of dollars going into data center build-outs worldwide. Qatar's Sovereign Wealth Fund has joined forces with Blue Owl Capital to launch a $3 billion global digital infrastructure platform. Based in Doha, the fund will accelerate the development of data centers worldwide, meeting growing demand for cloud services and AI computation. And the move follows Qatar Investment Authority's recent investment in Anthropic and reinforces the Gulf's ambition to shape the future of AI. If you just joined, you're listening to Presight Presents, AI Lunchtime Live, brought to you by Presight and Middle East AI News. And now we're going to go to an interview with 𝗂𝗍𝗂 𝗟𝗪𝗡𝗖𝗃, who is a trainee at Presight. And I caught up with 𝗂𝗍𝗂 yesterday and was able to ask her what it's like to join Presight and her learnings from working with the company and her thoughts on the role of Emirati women in AI. So let's hear what 𝗂𝗍𝗂 has to say. Welcome to AI Lunchtime Live, 𝗂𝗂. Thanks so much for joining us, and looking forward to hearing more about your work at Presight and the experience of being a trainee at Presight.
Happy to be here.
Great. Thanks very much for coming. So to start off with, can you tell us a little bit about your background and your studies? Whether you thought this was where you'd end up after your studies? What did you study?
I studied industrial and systems engineering, and the reason I chose that major was because of how diverse the courses were. The doctors wanted to expose us to many sectors, and I enjoyed that exposure and the constant learning that they were aiming for. And I think that same mentality is what drove me to Presight, because Presight is in a new sector that is pushing and investing a lot in. And Presight is a growing company, so I knew I would have a lot of opportunities to learn something that I wasn't aware of or experienced for.
And when did you join Presight as a trainee?
Around 11 months now.
11 months?
Yes.
Wow. And was this area of AI something that you thought and you could see yourself working in before you joined?
Actually, not at all. Honestly, it was something new I had no experience for, and I wanted to know if I could learn. And the UAE is pushing and investing a lot in AI, so I wanted to know if I can find a place for myself in that ecosystem.
Are you convinced now that you can find your place in the ecosystem?
Yeah, I worked in solutions for 6 months, so it was exposure to the products and working directly with the products. And now I'm working in business development, so it's business development for the GCC, which is more fun because we get to see how these products are tied to the national priorities of other countries and how we can map that. It's been really interesting.
Yeah, it's a misconception that AI companies only employ people who can make AI, but actually it requires broad skill sets.
Yeah, across the board, don't limit yourself with the degree that you got at university. You can find a place for yourself within AI companies. Be open to learning and experiencing new things.
So you studied engineering at college, and STEM subjects are becoming more and more popular with Emirati women.
I think they've been popular for a while. We've seen that 60% of STEM graduates are women now, right?
Absolutely. Is AI the next new career for women in the UAE?
Of course, because our leadership has invested a lot in AI and we're becoming a digital-first country, and there is definitely space for us to lead in these spaces, and our leadership believes in that.
So the UAE is a place that's really led in a lot of areas to create opportunities for women, to empower women. How does that feel from your point of view, and what inspiration do you draw from the leadership?
I feel very, very proud and fortunate to be part of a country that has leadership that believes in us. Like Father Sheikh Zayed, a popular saying that he had, and his core belief was to make Emirati women empowered and educated, and he made it a national priority for us to be able to have that. We see that vision alive now with the amount of women leading across different sectors. And one inspiration for me is Saad Amiri and how she led the science team in the Emirates Mars mission. She showed us how capable Emirati women can be on a global stage.
You've been working at Presight now for 11 months. What's impressed you the most about Presight?
So what I like about Presight and what I like about working at this company is seeing how we're leading, not just in the UAE, across the MENA region. Because I work as BD for the MENA region, I've been exposed to different countries. I had this interesting proposal that I'd worked on with one of the MENA countries where we're mapping our products and solutions to their national strategies, and their leadership is heavily interested in the work that we're doing. So having that exposure within Presight at such a junior level showed me the impact that the UAE is having in AI. And it's nice working here and seeing that.
Would you recommend this traineeship to others?
I think if you're up for a challenge and you're up to learn new things that you haven't been exposed to before in an ecosystem that is currently evolving heavily and our leadership is investing heavily into, there isn't a better place to start than Presight. It's been a steep learning curve, but I'm happy about the lessons that I learned here and for the growth opportunities that were offered to me. It's fun. It's a learning curve, honestly, and I'm enjoying the work I'm doing.
Which is the most important thing. Baina, thank you so much for talking to us today about Presight and your experience. Really interesting. I'm sure that there's lots of others that will be interested in listening to this too. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
This is AI Lunchtime Live, and you've been watching my interview with Presight trainee 𝗂𝗂 𝗟𝗏𝗧. And if you missed any of that interview, you'll be able to listen to the recording of the live show later this afternoon via LinkedIn, via YouTube. And we're coming to the end of the Friday show. If you're not already familiar with Middle East AI news, then this is the region's top source of news about AI and cutting-edge technologies that are transforming the Middle East. You can find out more about it at www.middleeastainews.com, where you'll find breaking news, our daily news minute podcast with breaking news from the last 24 hours, and our weekly news digest on Thursday mornings via email and via LinkedIn. Next week, we're returning to our weekly schedule of Thursday deep dive shows. And next week, I have 𝗫𝗍𝗃 Singh, the new regional head for of engineering for Qualcomm, join me to talk about Qualcomm's new engineering center in Abu Dhabi. Again, you'll find details on www.middleeastainews.com. You'll be watching Presight Presents AI Lunchtime Live, brought to you by Presight, Middle East AI News, part of the Presight AI Week. It really has been an incredible week, bringing you AI Lunchtime Live. New experience for me, and also got to meet lots of great guests, discussing the latest AI trends and technologies and finding out a lot more about Presight. It's been a pleasure to partner with Presight and be able to present from Presight's new offices in Abu Dhabi and Abu Dhabi Global Market. And we've heard from lots of different companies in the G42 ecosystem, also from HSBC and Microsoft. You can watch all those recordings of this week's shows online on LinkedIn or via YouTube. And also be pleased to hear that a lot of the interviews from this week are going to be podcast as audio during the next few weeks. And so you'll be able to listen to the interviews that we've had with the Presight team and also other G42 companies, Microsoft, HSBC, and others via your favorite podcast platforms, such as Spotify, Angami, etc. That's about all we have. Keep checking Middle East AI News for updates, where we'll be sharing the links and the podcast for this show, and also for my upcoming show next Thursday. Again, just to plug the show next Thursday, it's my Thursday deep dive show from 12 noon KSA, 1 p.m. UAE time on every Thursday. And next week, I'll be talking to 𝗘𝗏𝗍, who's Qualcomm's new regional engineering head for the Middle East. And we'll be talking about the new Qualcomm Engineering Center in Abu Dhabi and what he's up to there. Thanks again to Presight for partnering with Middle East AI News, providing a fantastic location and introducing some amazing guests. And thank you for being with us this week, and have a good afternoon.